What up, people? Good afternoon, everyone. What's going on? How's everybody doing today? Okay. I'm trying to get everything set up. Before we get started, just give me a second. Chat. Let's get the chat going on here. Cool. What's up, Antiflow? What's up, D? What's going on, people? How you guys doing today? What's up, Ralph? What's going on? So today I'm talking about something that's pretty dear and near to me and pretty excited. Yeah, bro. New stuff. D, check it out. New stuff, man. New stuff. Anyway, so hi and welcome to my sixth episode of the Cimifly Live, the Entrepreneur's Journey. I am your host, Cecil Williams, and so today's topic, we're going to be talking about the Cimifly money mindset. So with that, essentially, this is a blog post that I wrote about, I'd probably say about 2 years ago. And if you want to check it out, go to medium.com, type in search Cimifly, Cimifly, and I think it's my third blog post, and it talks about the mindset that people need to have to be financially independent, financially free, or something of that nature. I mean, whatever works for you, because I think the definition of financial independence and freedom is different for everyone. So go check it out. But yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about today. So we're going to spend about 20-25 minutes just talking about the mindset. So as my standard um, formatting goes, normally I like to start off with some quotes and then we dive deep into the topic itself. And then we're going to be just discussing some of these concepts and things that we've outlined. So first, like I said, today we're talking about last episode. To recap, we talked about mindset. We just talked about what it takes to have the right mindset to succeed or to conquer anything that you set your mind towards. So with this episode, we're going to be talking about a money mindset. What's up, Marie? And just what I think essentially people need to have the right mindset in order to conquer financial freedom or financial independence, and whatever that means to you. But like I said, maybe let's touch a little bit into what financial independence and freedom are. So I think for everybody it's different. For some people it could be just simply, I mean, what simply it is really for most people is just having enough money to cover your expenses, and those expenses don't have to be exorbitant. So example would be you make $5,000 a month in your household. Maybe you get enough money to cover $5,000 a month of your household, generally of passive income. And from that point on, you would be considered financially free or financially independent, because now you don't necessarily have to go to work because your passive income has equaled or exceeded your what used to be your active income. So it then declares you financially free or independent. For other people, it could be more. It could be becoming a millionaire, billionaire, whatever your goals are. But whatever your goals are for financial independence, I'll take probably the first one, where I tell people to just simply think of whatever amount you need to equal or exceed your current household income, or you can say expenses, or things of that nature. Then that would kind of put you in a position for financial freedom. Most people think financial freedom is this crazy thing that is unattainable. That's not true. So today we're going to be talking about the mindset that it requires to put you in a position to be financially free. I'm not there yet. I'm going through a journey, and I'm just documenting that journey in my blog, Cimifly. Well, it's cimifly.medium.com. Check it out. And I've been documenting this since 2019, so it's almost 3 years now. And essentially, I'm just sharing my journey. And I think a lot of people have similar journeys, similar stories to tell. And if we all go through it together, then it makes it pretty much easier. And hopefully, all of us, most of us, can get to that journey of financial independence. So maybe I spend a little bit more time on this topic, where I read a lot, I watch a lot of video, or I just educate myself a little bit about it. But essentially, I wrote an article and it talked about the 7 steps that I think people need to take to get to that level of financial independence. So I like to start things off normally with quotes. the first quote is something that I came up with when I was writing this article a while ago, and it says, "Money is not what I'm after. Freedom is. However, money is an important tool to help me accomplish my dreams." So, I mean, most people will try to scold you maybe if you are capitalist or if you love too much money, but the reality is we live in a world where we need it. And because we need money, we needed to do things, basic things. I mean, to live, to pay rent, for transportation, for food. So yes, some people want more than others, and I wouldn't lie about you. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a businessman. Yes, I would like what we our generation today calls the soft life. I want to live the soft life. I'm sure some of you want to live the soft life too. So if you want to live the soft life, you're going to need a little bit more money than than normal. So at the end of the day, for me, achieving, I like to replace the word now freedom with independence. Achieving that freedom, I need a little bit more than just average. But at the end of the day, the goal is to figure out how you first get to average, to exceed that. And you should not be ashamed of your goals. Everybody's dreams are different, and we all should go out there and try to accomplish what we want to accomplish, regardless of what other people might think or feel about us. So the next one is, it says, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. This is just a general rule in life. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. With everything we do in life, we have to plan. Especially when it comes to money, you have it. I mean, it's as simple as this. You want to go on a vacation next year or this Christmas, you have to save for it. But before you save, you have to figure out what that vacation is going to cost you, what money you need to get to these places, and all these little things. So let's say for me, for instance, I was born in Sierra Leone. I'd like to go back home and I want to go to Sierra Leone. I need to figure out how much it's going to cost me to go to Sierra Leone in December. I need to figure out plane ticket. I need to figure out transportation, and a bunch of different things. And once I figure that out, let's say that number is $3,000. I need to spend my time planning to figure out how I'm going to fund that vacation or holiday or whatever you want to call it. If it means that every paycheck or every time I earn money, I have to put a specific amount aside until I get to that goal, you have to plan. If you don't plan for your financial future, it will shock you. And I think I'm of this belief, and I might be wrong, and this is sensitive territory. So a friend of mine, when I posted this today in a group, said to me, I need to talk about money from the African perspective because it's a very taboo topic, which is true. So that might be coming on the next episode. But for instance, I always say most of our older comrades, uncles, aunts, not all of them now, so don't take offense to every single one, move out of, I'd say primarily the United States or the Western world without a financial plan. They don't, I mean, they didn't, it's not their fault. They didn't quite understand the system when they came into it. The financial system is very, I'm not going to say it's complicated, but you have to have lived in it long enough for you to understand it. And as a result of not understanding the system and failing to plan, they couldn't survive a retirement in America that didn't depend on their children, that didn't depend on relatives, because they don't have a financial plan that depends on the system. Social Security, working 20, 30 years, retiring, that's just not a plan for them. So most of them resort to going back home. But that going back home depends on the system over there. And over there, the system has a dependence on people, the dependence on family. So your kids, whether your kids are abroad, whether your kids are at home, that system then depends on people versus a financial system that was created to ensure that you can catch those people at any point in time. So essentially, I think that's what happens, but that's a topic I think we're going to explore in my next live, and we're going to be talking about money from an African perspective. But again, just make sure you plan, because if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. The third one is, this is an interesting, from a movie that came out a long time ago, The Players Club. It says, make that money, don't let that money make you. So essentially, as we go chasing dreams, chasing success, chasing all these things, we have to remind ourselves why we're doing it. We also have to remind ourselves that we cannot get caught up just chasing money. There's a fatigue with that, and that could cause a lot of things, psychological trauma. It could cause distress. It could cause marital problems, it could cause familial problems, all kinds of things. So just keep in mind that as you go chasing your goals, not to let money destroy who you are. So now we're going to get into it. I wouldn't take, what's up, Nadia? How you doing? Anyway, so I'm going to get into it, and we're just going to talk about the 7 steps that I think it takes to get to financial independence. Now, this is not something people have to fear. It's a process. I think everybody has to understand this is a process, and this process can take some time. If you were born if you were born in the United States, then I think you understand this a little bit more than others because you started at an early age. But for us who are immigrants, or for a lot of people, we have to come into a system and figure it out. And that's not easy. But for even most of the people here, they never get to figure out that system. So maybe your goal is not to dive in all your life figuring out. For me, I'm not going to lie to you, that's actually one of my goals, is to figure out the system so we can all live the soft life. I'm just saying. But anyway, getting into it real quick. Number 1 is resilience. I think your ability to pull yourself back up after failure and adversity, I think that's number 1, and it's the first thing. You have to be resilient about what you want to accomplish in life. If you're not, then you're not going to get anywhere. Your resilience is for your personal self. I think this is it's like they say, get knocked down 7 times, or get knocked down 8, get back up 9, or whatever the case might be. At the end of the day, you have to be able to keep going when sometimes you don't see a light at the end of the tunnel. This is episode 6 for me. And yes, the emotions are up and down when I do this, but ultimately, I have to be able to be resilient in my ability to continue to do this, knowing that I have a long-term goal, and to not let anything deter me from that goal. But then with the resilience comes the second point. But before I get to the second point, so as it pertains to money, when it comes to that, you have to be resilient to say, in America, especially when it comes to saving, sometimes you're saving money for something, or whether it's to buy a house, whether it's to get a car, whether it's for retirement, and then something happens. It could be health, it could be your car, it could be something, or it could be with taxes. Yesterday was tax day, and all of a sudden Uncle Sam says, you owe me $10,000. And you're like, oh my God, where am I going to get $10,000? Oh, I just saved $10,000. Now I have to give it back to the system. That could be deflating, but I think you have to be resilient, and that's why I said you have to plan, because if you plan, then you make sure you put yourself in a position to be disciplined enough to make sure some of these things don't really happen. But you have to be resilient. But with resilience comes number 2, consistency. I was telling a friend of mine today that consistency is not for self. Yes, essentially, like I mentioned to you guys, I'm in episode 6. I made a promise and a commitment to myself to do these Cimifly lives for a whole year at minimum. When we get to the year mark, we'll cross the line. But not to say within that year, I'm not thinking of how I can tinker it, tweak it, or improve. But my goal is baseline 1 year. And I have to be able to show up every 2 weeks. So that's my goal. Every 2 weeks, 3:30, or the times might change in terms of when I engage my audience. But every 2 weeks, guaranteed, I will be live talking about something that's important to me. Now, consistency, like I said, is for you guys. If you guys don't see the consistency in what I do, why show up? It doesn't really matter. Or if you take Royal Dynamite, the t-shirt I'm wearing, the clothing brand, we've been in business for 12 years. From a timeline, big picture perspective, you could say we've been consistent. If you chop it up now within the years, time periods, we haven't been the most consistent. But at the end of the day, from a longevity standpoint, we have been consistent in trying to stay in power. But that also lack of consistency at the micro level is also something that actually has hurt us. But we keep striving to figure out consistency, because I think in life, most people try to figure out consistency, but there's a saying, it says it takes 21 days to form a habit and 90 days to make it a lifestyle. Remember that. When it comes to your money, if you need to save, and recently I learned a word called storing money versus saving money. So saving money is you saying I'm saving money for a rainy day. Storing money is you saying I'm putting money aside for an investment. And I think that's the mentality we need to look at money. We have to store money for investments. We cannot just be looking to save money for when my tire goes out, when I got to go to vacation. These are all liabilities. We have to think of storing money to buy assets, to buy your home, to buy that investment property, to invest in stocks, or whatever the case might be. But you have to think of storing money, and you have to figure out a plan to do it consistently. And I think you start small. Everybody always has big goals and dreams. When your big goals and dreams really should scare you. If they don't scare you, we have a problem. You're not going to get to the soft life. I keep reminding you. But when you think of these big goals, then you have to break it down. If your goal is to save $100,000 at the end of the year or in 5 years, break it down what it's going to come to a week or a day, and figure it out and start somewhere. If it means, okay, I'm going to start with $50 every paycheck. You start with $50 every paycheck until you get used to it. Then you increase it to 75, then 100. But you have to be consistent. You have to do it over a period of time. And for money, one of the easiest ways to do that is to automate the process. I mean, technology has helped us automate the process in today's world with linking bank accounts, making sure every time you get a paycheck, you pay yourself first, and just ideas like that, consistency. The next, I think, is persistence. Now, persistence is for you. Your audience never gets to understand persistence. Consistency is when you show up for them. Persistence is what you do for yourself. And an example I gave in the article that I wrote was 30 publishers rejected Stephen King for his first book. 12 publishers rejected J.K. Rowling's for the Harry Potter script. Think about it. J.K. Rowling is one of the wealthiest women in the world. And she wrote the script to one of the most popular movies. By the way, I don't think I've probably watched after the first one. I'm not a Harry Potter fan, but think about it. Think about what Harry Potter is to a lot of people, the books, the movies, and all that type of stuff. And as a result, Stephen King has written some of the most, I mean, everybody's probably read a Stephen King book, even if it's just the introductory, but at least the movies, the books that have gone on to become movies and all that type of stuff, these were people who today you wouldn't think, I mean, think about getting rejected 30 times. I don't know if I'm still in a position where I want to get rejected 30 times before something happens, but I realize that in order for me to get to these goals, rejection is going to be a part of, what's up, Estella? What's going on? Rejection is going to be a part of the process. If you don't get the no's, you'll never know how to convert anything into a yes. If all your life you go through high school, college getting A's, which I don't know, I mean, there are people who actually do it, then the day you finally get a B or a C or a D, you're going to freak out as an adult. You're not going to know what happens. You're not even going to know how it hit you. So I think in life we have to, not saying we have to fail, but sometimes they say you have to fail in order to succeed. And sometimes those failures just come in the form of people saying no. What's up, DJ No Name? Sometimes those failures come in the form of people saying no to you. And maybe out of curiosity, sometimes when people say no to you, ask them a question. Why did they say no? I mean, maybe it was your parents, maybe it was your presentation. It could be just something, but you learn because you ask those questions. And same thing, I think if you are persistent with what you're trying to do on the back end, knowing that you have to be resilient, like I said, you get knocked down, you get back up, your savings gets taken down for a car issue, health issue, you have to be persistent, get back up, fix it. I know sometimes, trust me, I know this because, I mean, for years when I used to do trading, especially if you're a stock trader, you go up sometimes, you make all this money, and then in one day it vanishes, and you say to yourself, damn it, this system has gotten me. I am tired. I don't want to do this anymore. But you have to remind yourself, I have to do this. But not only do you have to do it, you have to figure it out. You have to get better. You have to become you have to sharpen those skills. Nobody's saying become perfect. Nobody's saying become an expert, but you have to sharpen those skills. So I think that's where persistence comes in, where not only are you giving up from just saying, hey, I don't know how this works. I'm tired of this. I don't want to save money anymore. You have to then dive in, education, networking, meeting people, and all that type of stuff, and say, how do I figure this out so I get back in the game and I am better? I am better than I was yesterday, and I'm better than I am going to be today for the future. So I think persistence is that. The next, all these things align, man. What's up, Marcus? What's going on, brother? How you doing? The next is discipline. Now, of all of these things we're talking about, I honestly think this is the most important. This is the part everybody fails. This is the part I fail at. This is the part everybody fails. The people who succeed at being more disciplined than others win, hands down, all the time. So if you can figure out how to incorporate discipline in your life, and it starts with little things. Let's forget money. If you say you're going to wake up at 6 o'clock every morning, let's just say your goal is you want to go to the gym, right? Maybe it starts first. I mean, I'll even give an example of something I heard before. You want to start going to the gym because you want to lose 20 pounds. And this guy gave a story where he says, okay, first you start waking up at 6 o'clock every morning. So maybe you do that, which goes with the consistency and persistence. Every day for maybe 2 weeks, you wake up at 6 o'clock every morning. You're not going to the gym. You're not doing anything. You're just waking up. Then next step is you're going to wake up, go to the gym and walk in and maybe do one thing. Like for 5, you could even just walk into the gym for the next 2 weeks. So for a month, you've woken up at 6 o'clock. By the second 2 weeks, it's become a habit now. And now you're going into the gym. Maybe by 6 weeks later, you're going into the gym, you're doing 10 minutes. Over the span of 90 days, you've picked up a habit where now by 84 days, you're waking up at 6 like nothing, easy. You're getting in that gym, you're putting in 30 minutes. You didn't start there. 6 months later, you didn't start there. You started with just an idea of, I want to go to the gym and I want to lose 20 or 10 pounds. You started waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning from day one, but by day 90 or by day 120 now, whatever it is for you, you're consistent because you became a disciplined human being. Now, this is where it's very, 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 very difficult for people to become disciplined, especially with money. I mean, I think, and I'm going to read this to you. It says, in the book, The Millionaire Next Door, the authors Thomas J. Stanley and William D. Danko noted that people who achieved high net worth relative to income tend to know exactly how much they spend. Discipline. If you want to be financially independent, and I'm not saying rich, financially independent, making just enough in passive income to what you make now to say, okay, I need $2,000 to be financially independent. Whatever your number is, you need to know what you're spending. If you don't know what you're spending, I mean, you're fighting a defeated battle already. You have to know what's going out. Whether it's through a budget, there's some people who are good with budgets. I'll be honest with you. When I was single by myself, I was good with the budget. Now that I'm married and have a family, a budget gives me a headache. I look at it and I get overwhelmed because I'm not only responsible for myself anymore, I'm responsible for an entire family. So there are times when I look at it and I say, okay, this overwhelms me, but because I was disciplined enough to create one and follow it for so many years, it became innate and second nature to me. And as a result, I'm able to have habits now that have helped me throughout when it comes to budgeting. So for instance, when we bring in money, we pay ourselves first. Paying yourselves first just means whether it's saving or, again, when I said to you, storing money. Storing money just means putting money aside specifically for an intended purpose of investing versus saving where you're putting money aside for a vacation. Let's just put it this: assets over liabilities. Remember EYL? So storing is for your assets. Savings could be for your liabilities, whatever that liability is. So at the end of the day, I think if you're disciplined enough to know how much you're spending, because you have to know how much you're spending for you to get to those goals, then it makes it easy for you to get to your goals. Next is planning. Again, if you plan to fail, you fail to plan. And we talked about this earlier, but I mean, all these go hand in hand. In order for you to get to these goals, you have to plan. You need your spreadsheets. You need to scribble. I scribble down on paper all the damn time. I mean, I'll show you notepads. Like, I'm always scribbling. I'm kind of old school where I just take notes because I think one of them, it helps you remember things. But at the end of the day, you kind of have to figure out how you what's your system, and then you have to make that into, or what's your process, I guess. How do you do things? Your process, then your processes become systems. So once your processes become systems, then you figure those things out, and you plan for the vacation, you plan for buying the home, you plan for doctor's visits, you plan for things that you probably don't even anticipate in doing, but at least when those things happen, you know you have money to do that. You know where to go to do those things. If your parents get sick, or if your friend says it's their birthday, I mean, you have to almost intentionally plan for everything, to the point where you say, okay, I have 3 siblings, they have 5 kids, these are their birthdays. It sounds overwhelming, but sometimes it even goes as simple as, for me, this is what I do simply. Every one of my friends, or my siblings and their kids, I put their birthdays in my calendar. So on that day it pops up. So I never have to forget to say happy birthday. And I've started doing it for my friends. So if I didn't remember last year, I asked someone, the moment they say, hey, this person's birthday is April 24th, I just plug it into my phone. And on that day, it reminds me. There is no shame in my game, and there's no shame in that. We're getting older. We have to be able to remember things. There's a million things going on in our lives, and we just have to be able to remember how we do these things. So moving on. Next is execution. All those things we've talked about, the first 4: resilience, consistency, persistence, discipline, planning. We have to be able to execute on that plan. If you cannot execute, best way to talk about execution is, think of Nike. Just do it. If you don't do it, when I started this live, I started planning. I just got on one day and I just did it. Here we are, episode 6. So just do it. At the end of the day, I think you have to follow through with the plans that you say you're going to do, and only then are you going to see the fruits of your labor, get to where you need to get to. You have to plan. I mean, you have to plan, you have to execute. I mean, it's, if you watch war movies, not that I want to talk about that type of stuff, but when a sniper is about to do something, they say give the execution order, or give the execute order, whatever. In stock trading, you execute a trade. In business, you execute a business plan. In everything you do, you have to execute. Execution is what leads to results. Only then are you going to know where you made mistakes, what your failures are, and what you can correct to get better at stuff. So with execution, think like Nike. Just do it. You want to live the soft life, right? I do. So I'm just letting you know, if you want to live the soft life, you got to execute. But the next one, in order to be able to, so I'm going on at 30 minutes. I told you guys, this is a topic that I am very passionate about. I normally want to do these things for about 20 minutes, but this one's going a little longer. I apologize, but here we are. I'll wrap it up. This is the last one. The next one is contentment. I think we have to be content. And I always say to people, and hopefully my mom and dad not listen to this, my father is a very content human being. He's accomplished everything he wants to accomplish in life, and he's very content. My mom, on the other hand, I'm not saying she's not. She's just a go-getter. She is never satisfied. She wants more. And my dad always says, I don't know what your mom wants at 60 something years old. We're approaching 70. And I said, that is what makes her tick. That is what makes her breathe. That is her life. This is what she wants to do. Let her be. For you, you've done what you needed to do. You've had your days. You're maybe a little bit more traditional, and you've gotten to a point in your life where you're content. But it shouldn't stop you from still having dreams. But my point I'm trying to say is, there's a saying, they say the grass is not always greener on the other side. And to further reiterate on that, it says, if the grass is greener on the other side, it is because they're watering that grass on the other side. They're taking care of that grass. They're taking all these points and putting it into action and executing. So at the end of the day, I think in order for us to be in a position where we take all these things and go after financial independence, we have to be resilient. We have to go chasing our dreams. We have to work hard. We have to go get it. But at some point in time in your life, you have to be content with what you have and say, this is enough. Because there's always what one can handle. But then I was listening to a guy called Kenny Burns. He's a documentary guy and whatever. And he said his life is taken care of. He has everything he needs. If you were to ever consider doing more than what he's capable of, it's not because of him. It's because of his children and grandchildren and the legacy he would want to leave for them financially. Through his career, he makes documentary films. He's already fulfilled his legacy, his personal satisfaction, and what his legacy and future would go on to be long after he's gone. He's left his trail. He's made documentary films. But like he says, if he wants to leave a successful legacy now, it's not for him, at least a financial one. It's not because of him, because he doesn't need any more money. It's because of the people, the offsprings, the children, the grandchildren, and that type of stuff. So I think you have to understand self-contentment when it's time for you to hang up the boots, or when it's time for you to say, I want to do this. Like I said, I want to live the soft life. So I'm not yet content with where I'm at. I'm grateful. I'm grateful to God where I'm at right now, but I'm not yet content. Now, there's going to get to a point in time where my family is going to have, at least my immediate family or myself, I'm going to have everything that I need. And I think right now, I for the most part, I have most of what I need. My daily needs are met, thankfully, and thank God. But I'm not just doing this for me. I'm doing this for two reasons. One is the soft life. Yes, I want to be on a beach in the Bahamas and do whatever. But I think also legacy. I want to make sure my kid, my son, my future children, my sister's kids, and all these people are taken care of. I want to make sure the legacy of our family lives on. We build wealth. What our parents built on, that they passed on to us, we make it bigger and we give it to them, and they make it bigger and give it to the next. And 7 generations from now, it is just bigger and better, and we are able to live the dream and again the soft life. So at the end of the day, what's up, Va? What's going on, brother? How you doing? So at the end of the day, I think, all jokes aside, these are just the things that I think we need to achieve financial independence. Now I have this article in, like I said, go to Cimifly, Cimifly.medium.com. Check it out. It's my third article that I ever wrote. It's actually probably one of my most read articles, and you would see these things here. Print them out, stick them up, pin it, put it on your vision board. It is not difficult. Just think of what you need to do to accomplish financial independence: resilience, consistency, persistence, discipline, planning, execution, and most of all, you have to learn how to be content. But I think I've gone over 30 minutes even, but I'm going to cut it short, cut it out for now, and we'll see you again next week. So I think, like I mentioned to you, a friend pushed me to talk about money from an African perspective, because I think it's a very much taboo topic. So I'm going to bring someone on for the first time, maybe 1 or 2 people for the first time in this whole thing in about 2 weeks. It'll be May 3rd. And we're going to talk about money, but from an African perspective. I don't have all the answers to that. I don't know everything that's going on. So, but I know how I grew up with it. I know what I saw growing up with it, and I know what people see from it. So if you guys could join us in about 2 weeks, let's talk about this. I'd appreciate it. For everybody who showed up, thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys coming on. Give me feedback. Let me know what you think about it. And I'm very appreciative of the time and that you guys have come and spent with me to educate ourselves. I mean, this is a community that we're building, and we're going to take it to the next level. D, what's up, brother? I appreciate you, man. But thank you guys very much. To everybody who showed up, I really appreciate you guys. Until next time, this is Cimifly signing out.